Hey guys, welcome to Upshift Online. We're going to talk to you a little bit today about the TFT and all of the settings, particularly the rally mode on the new KTM 790 Adventure R. There's a lot of adjustment in here, so we're going to try to talk you through it a little bit. Let's start with clicking our set button. That takes you to the different modes here. We're going to click rally. All right, and this is going to take you through the different throttle responses here. We'll hit set again. And these are your different modes here. So you can toggle through street, rally, and off-road. Rally is going to be your most aggressive setting. Street's kind of your standard. That's going to be maybe where it comes set up, or if you're just riding on the road, obviously. And then off-road is going to be reduced response, just a little bit more easier display of power as it rolls on to compensate for the lack of traction. Okay, so you can see we're in rally mode. We're going to go back to our home screen. And if you use the up and down toggles that you see here, you'll watch this number change. Okay, so this is your slip. And this is an off-road slip adjustment that's got numbers 1 through 9. So if I go all the way down to 1, that's the least amount of intervention with the timing. Okay, so this is going to be very aggressive, quick throttle response. You're not going to get a lot of adjustment out of the ECU in terms of lack of traction. The more we toggle up all the way to 9, that is the maximum amount of intervention. So if it's very slippery conditions, wet, hard, maybe ice, anything like that, this is going to be something that's going to help a lot as far as controlling the power. So this is the spot you want to be for those slippery conditions. If we get down into, like, let's say you're in a sand wash or something like that, you want to get down to 1. That's going to be less intervention from the ECU. You want the wheel to be turning and spinning in the sand, otherwise you're not going to go anywhere. So this would be more of a setting for something like that. For your everyday off-road, just maybe fire roads, a little bit of trail, 5's a really good place to be. It just allows the ECU to compensate if it gets slippery, but it's also going to turn enough that you're going to keep moving through loose stuff. All right, I want to talk about a couple of other features here. If we hit set, we come back to our main menu. And if you toggle to the top here, you'll see KTM My Ride. Those of you familiar with this is a carryover from years past. It's a very cool feature. You can get on the website and learn more about that, and it's a cool feature to utilize. You obviously have all of your basic stuff in here, trips and data, the rally as we talked about, motorcycle and settings. One more thing I want to mention that's critical here is the fuel gauge. So because of the shape of this tank, they weren't able to get a measurement that ran from the top to the bottom. So the fuel pickup is only about halfway down in terms of this gauge. So it's going to read that you have a full tank until you have a half a tank, and then all of a sudden it's going to drop to half a tank. So if you're going off on a long ride, it's just a good idea to peek in here, make sure that you have the amount of fuel that you think you do, because just because this says full tank of gas, it may not be a full tank of gas. All right, let's take a closer look here at the motorcycle mode. This has some good stuff. So this is your traction control, which we want to have on. We've talked about adjusting that. You can drop down to your ABS. So while we hit the ABS here, I want to talk about this for a quick second. There's 3 modes for your analog braking system. There's off, road, which is fully applied ABS, and then off-road, which is kind of somewhere in the middle. It still reads a little bit, but gives you some better feel with the rear brake. I would recommend, obviously, anytime you are on the asphalt, leave it in road mode. If you're going to go off-road, try the off-road setting. See if you like the feel of that. I like full rear brake when I'm in the dirt, so I can steer the rear of the bike by using the rear brake. So I may opt for off, but again, that's personal preference. The off-road feature does give you some control while still having some input from the ECU. All right, we're going to drop back here to our menu. One more thing on here is the quick shift. This bike does have the quick shift installed. If it's something that's not on your model, you can go to your KTM dealer. They can install that software. Really neat feature that just allows you to leave the clutch alone, keep the throttle on. As soon as you touch that shift lever, it's just going to shift gears. And up and down as well, which is a really cool feature. Just makes for very smooth shifting and sort of a seamless transition from one gear to the next, which is especially good for off-road or surfaces that have less traction. All right, so as you can see, there's a lot of information on the TFT here. It's really cool, lit up with an LED. You can see this thing in the daylight or dark. It's great. Just play with this just as we recommended with suspension. It's critical that you get to know your bike. That's the best way to get the most out of it. Drop down into these settings and play with different options. You can find settings that you'll like to leave it on, things you don't like. But you don't really learn how to control those things unless you get in here and play with them. So don't be afraid to get in here, make some changes, and just really enjoy your KTM. Thanks for watching.